up, everybody? It's your boy Heems, and guys, we are back with another reaction video. Today, we get to check out the one and only, guys, Callisto Protocol review. And what appropriate time to do it than after the fact that we sat there and beat the game. But before we go further, guys, if you like the reaction videos, you love the streams, make sure you hit that like button for your boy. Don't forget to subscribe to your boy at Heemscast Gaming. Share the videos, share the channels, raid, host, all are welcome and greatly appreciated. Tell everybody want to catch me stream. I stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, with late starts between 8:15 and 8:30 p.m. Weekends are open schedule, so anything goes. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Trovo, and DLive. I stream on all 5 platforms at the exact same time. Reaction videos are as early as 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a minimum of 1 to 2 videos at a time, to 5 or 6, give or take, depending on your boy's work schedule. My typical work schedule is between 6 to 8 days a week, including pickups and overtime. We're currently on vacation, guys, so with that being said, we're going to try to crank out as much as we can, more reaction videos. Let's get it. To anybody, if I overlooked you, I missed you, give me a kind and gentle reminder in the comments, and I'll make sure to get to your reaction video next, whether it be beatboxes, whether it be trailers, AMVs, fan films, try not to laugh, you name it, we're doing it all. To everybody out there, don't forget to follow your boy on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, Snapchat, and the YouTube community for updates and more. Without further ado, let's check this review out. Man.
A proper remake might be rising from the grave next year,
yes,
but the festering corpse of Dead Space has come lurching back to life early in the form of the Callisto Protocol. This spiritual successor to the...
And what I like about it so far, like, I mean, the same people that was behind Dead Space were the same people that also made this game. And this is definitely, I wouldn't even go as far as to say a warrant, because this game in and of itself is good in its own right. But it's definitely getting us geared and our minds ready for what's coming up next between the 23rd and the 27th.
Sci-fi survival horror series recreates the blood-streaked hallways and monster-slaying hallmarks first established on the USG Ishimura back in 2008, and injects the gore with more awe than ever before thanks to some strikingly detailed splashes of blood and guts.
Yes.
Unfortunately, while the mutant dismemberment has never been more vivid, the Callisto Protocol's shortcomings appear just as clearly. Occasional control annoyances, imbalanced combat, and a general absence of innovation result in a roughly 8-hour massacre that's gratifyingly gruesome, but never quite as great as the series that inspired.
I want to give them that, because one thing I noticed, the biggest thing I had an issue, like for me personally, just from my own review, like I gave earlier, I gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, as far as storyline, really good, graphics, good, gameplay, everything else, its originality in and of itself was really good. But the one thing that killed it for me with this game was the functions. I cannot tell you how many times, especially in between switching weapons and like you're in the heat of battle, as soon as you even move or dodge, it literally resets the whole process of switching in between weapons at a crucial time. That was my one pet peeve.
Quiet it.
Already at maximum. We're not gonna make it. Yes, we are. Watch out. Hold on. Brace for impact!
Catastrophe has struck the Black Iron prison facility on the moon of Callisto, and the inmates are revolting. Not just in the sense that they've escaped their cells and are causing a riot, but also because they've been infected by a mysterious virus that's mutated them all into twisted toxic Avengers. It's up to wrongly incarcerated cargo pilot Jacob Lee to find a way out of this ruined facility overrun by lunar-based lunatics. What follows is a fairly linear gauntlet run, but thankfully the team at Developer Striking Distance has proven itself to be masterful makers of creepy corridors. Rarely are any two passages ever the same, and each area is given a distinct sense of place.
One thing I noticed in this game, and that's what brought variety to me, was the mere fact that no place was the same, and it makes you question your own judgment. But I don't know if that was the purpose of the game, just for the sake of that, or for the sake of just Jacob, but it made you feel more like Jacob, because like he was literally brought to a random place, so it's like he's not going to automatically know exactly where he needs to go or what he needs to be doing. He's freaking the heck out at this point, so he's basically trying to make it, you know, one step at a time, and that further added the intensity and the fear to this game, anxiety to this game, honestly.
From the maintenance room decorated with dangling corpses, to the frosted over facilities that lie beyond the prison walls. Josh Duhamel from the Transformers movies does a commendable job in the lead role, but the majority of the desperation and discomfort of his plight is conveyed through the impressive art direction and audio design. With the third-person camera tight on Jacob at all times, you get a clear look at the blood spatter that soaks his coveralls after each brutal encounter,
They did a good
or
job
the
with that.
especially icky sewage that coats his body after he's forced to wade waist-deep through waste management. Everything is thick and gross in a genuinely palpable way, and reinforced by unsettling scrapes and sickening squelches in the darkness around you.
This definitely gave Last
As
of Us
Jacob
vibes,
inched
except
his way
a
through the
whole
disgusting
worse.
pus boil and tendril-covered caves of Black Iron's lower levels, the Callisto Protocol's putrid penitentiary had me locked in a state of maximum insecurity.
Yeah, sure.
Max, I got trouble. What's up? We've been boarded.
Let's address the elephant-sized mutant monster in the room, though. The Callisto Protocol is effectively a Dead Space game in everything but name, with striking distance even being led by Dead Space co-creator Glenn Schofield. From the neatly minimalistic HUD which grafts Jacob's health bar into the back of his neck, to the stomping of crates and corpses,
Oh yeah.
to the telekinesis ability that allows you to hurl objects.
It's not
around
as good
with
as the
flick of
stomp in
Jacob's
Dead
wrist.
Space, but I'll still
There's
take
even
it.
evidence of a mysterious religious cult that's somehow involved in the outbreak, and instructions on how to kill enemies left in blood smeared on the walls.
Yep,
It
that
stops
is
short of
reference.
introducing Isaac Clarke's stasis ability, and swaps his collection of weaponized mining implements for a more conventional arsenal of pistols and shotguns, but it otherwise feels very familiar.
Yeah.
And as someone who's played all of the Dead Space games, it made for a campaign that was reasonably heavy on jump scares, but light on any major story.
You know
or
what I'm saying?
gameplay
I just now thought about that,
surprises.
like in a sense, like the marker.
The biggest deviation that the Callisto Protocol makes from Dead Space's terror-fueled template is its increased emphasis on melee combat,
Yes.
at least during the opening hours. With weapons and ammunition initially scarce, dispatching each snarling cellmate demands that you lure
Still
them into
scarce
an
throughout the
uncomfortably close
time.
proximity, sway out of the way of their clawing attacks, and then counter with a flurry of blows.
It took me
The
a
thumbstick-based
great amount of
dodging
time to
and
get that
blocking of
melee
incoming attacks
down.
feels a bit like ducking and weaving in a boxing game, except your opponent is less Holyfield and more like holy shit.
And I don't
And
think
it
you want to
feels
bite his ear off in
satisfyingly
this
weighty to
one.
bash their limbs off one by one and cave their skull.
I wouldn't want to bite the ear and turn into something completely different. I mean, unless it turns me into Mike Tyson, I don't want it.
Skulls in. Even as Jacob's arsenal grows, melee combat remains a smart way to conserve ammo,
Yes.
since every successful combo string you land opens up a brief window to perform a skill shot, allowing you to automatically lock onto a weak spot with your firearm and down them in a few shots instead of a full clip. I enjoyed the risk-reward choice involved in getting up close and personal, rather than trying to more safely pick enemies off from afar, not least because the already tight in-camera pulls in even closer to really highlight the carnage, as you administer each infected inmate with a lethal injection of hot lead.
Yeah, he's definitely braver than me, because no, I played it safe, or I tried to.
That's a
Now when I
grip.
got angry,
Bastard guards love to use it on us.
that's when I
inmates.
got crazy.
Unfortunately, that high level of tension isn't sustained once the grip is introduced. Powerful enough to lift most enemies into the air, this gravity-defying gauntlet can certainly make for some dynamic combat encounters, particularly in tandem with the various death traps and volatile objects that are handily positioned around most areas.
Now I'll say the grip wasn't as good when I first used it, but the more you upgrade, because even like the whole time for the enemies was super short. If you didn't launch them immediately, it was a wrap.
It can be a lot of fun in a jailbreaking Jedi sort of way, and it often produces some gloriously gory results. But it also means that enemies are often snuffed out too quickly and before they can become a threat. A bit like your Indiana Jones bringing a gun to a sword fight.
Haha.
Grip is an ability that depletes and must either be recharged over time or instantly topped up with batteries, so I couldn't constantly use it as a crutch, but I certainly felt it gave me the force-flinging upper hand in the bulk of enemy encounters, even on the hardest difficulty.
Now I won't crap as much on like the item because it's random of what you select with the items. I'll say at times it could be a bit, it's basically a luck of a draw. On one hand, it's terrible when you don't get the draw, but then when you do, like especially during that first boss fight and we was able to get as many batteries as possible, it made chucking so many of those enemies off the drill so easy.
setting, and there were times I wondered if the most dangerous monster lurking in Black Iron was actually me. Similarly, stealth sequences fail to introduce much in the way of stress. Midway through Jacob's great escape, the Callisto Protocol introduces a deadly blind variant of the infected that are reminiscent of the clickers from The Last of Us. However, although they're said to possess an elevated sense of hearing, I found it surprisingly easy to violently shiv them to death right under the nose of other enemies who wouldn't even flinch despite
I freaked out a few times. I was getting paranoid off of that. I was like, can they hear me? Like, oh my god. But no, they don't hear you.
A far more serious threat are the towering Terminator style security droids that can only be destroyed with a pinpoint headshot.
And that's hard to get.
But strangely, these genuinely formidable foes are introduced early on and then rarely encountered again.
See, I never got a good clean shot. I ended up being met with a wall of bullets.
That's not to say there isn't a healthy variety of enemy types to tackle in the Callisto Protocol. Although they embody a fairly customary set of survival horror archetypes, they all look wonderfully repulsive, and even better when you're making space jam out of their space guts. Before too long, basic enemy grunts are able to regenerate, transforming into more resilient brutes if you wound them without finishing them off completely.
And you will pay the price if you don't take care of them.
To fights with groups of agitated foes. This is perhaps best exemplified by a late-game ride on an underground drilling platform.
If you ever go back and watch that playthrough of this was probably like the most trauma. Let me stop lying. This and everything else that happened after was the most traumatizing. Pretty much this whole game was traumatized. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but this definitely got to me.
With hordes of attackers that set upon you from all sides and instantly power
and
up
they all,
as a result of being lashed by the shards of flying rock.
And they all
It's definitely one of the most heart rate ratcheting sequences.
I kept chucking them off.
Journey.
I watched your boy Roshi,
but elsewhere,
and he
my
did the same
was
thing.
By the surprisingly slow so-called quick weapon swap function, which routinely let me down during the repeated fights against this twin-headed mini-boss. The animation of Jacob holstering a weapon and drawing another is too long and can be accidentally interrupted. Meaning there were many times I'd start a weapon switch but perform a dodge to evade an attack immediately afterwards, and then
because like sometimes if you even switch between like so there's a secondary power upgrade to like for example like the handgun with the hand cannon. If you didn't reload the bullets and it was 0, that R1 button that was supposed to be used for the superpower or the secondary weapon would turn to a melee, which walks you right into getting the critical blow and getting killed. I can't tell you how many times we felt that through that last fight. Every time I'm trying to switch, it's like you have to be almost cognitive of every single action, every single moment, just so you could play around with the game of getting past that glitch.
Bring back up into a shooting stance to find myself still armed with the exact same empty weapon I was trying to holster.
That was a big
Control
pet
issues
peeve.
aside, the Callisto Protocol's handful of boss fights are disappointingly one-dimensional and never really blew my mind. Although they certainly smashed Jacob's skull on a number of occasions.
Now, I didn't think about that. Or I don't know, like consciously bring that up even like when we was making our own review. I wish they would have added a little bit more variety with the bosses. They literally used this one for at least like 3 to 4 times. And it's not just one of those like as if like, oh wow, I gotta fight him again. It's like, I gotta fight this thing again. Hey, you are already you really live a PTSD. You have a PTSD all over again of how hard it was the first time, and it doesn't get any better with each time you run into him, especially like in that damn server room. That was like Hunger Games in the worst of ways. You ever seen Labyrinth?
These samey boss encounters aren't the only things overused in the Callisto Protocol.
That scared me a lot.
The same can be said of many of the attempted jump scares. Having a facehugger leap out of the locker you're searching is certainly startling the first time, but by the 6th or 7th time it feels like you're being forced to endure the same repeated office pranks of an alien April Fool's Day.
And it's like a constant waste on your health, like...
The Callisto Protocol is a supremely atmospheric and action-heavy tour through a spectacular slaughterhouse set in distant space. Its largely linear design makes for minimal backtracking, meaning it trims the fat while leaving no shortage of bone and gristle to rip and tear. However, it also betrays its survival horror roots by regularly tipping the balance of power too far in favour of the player. And while there's plenty of murderous fun to be
I prefer to have that kind of power, because no, that would, oh my, can you imagine if you didn't have that grip? Can you imagine go through that underground with the drill machine? Because it on one hand they're saying they overpower you, but then it's like the amount of ammo, the amount of stuff, and like I don't know if they're gonna talk about that, but the item box is random. There's no guarantee you're gonna have ammo, and it's like, so that puts you in a situation. Oh, I guess you should have been a little bit more sparing, and that takes you back. That's not, Jesus, that's horrible.
had using giant grinding mechanisms to make mulch out of mutants. Such cheap thrills come at the high cost of puncturing any tension and dread that the tremendous art and audio design works so hard to invoke.
I know there was a bunch of audio problems.
Aside from the meaty melee combat, there's also the overriding sense that there's little here that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Callisto Protocol might be a satisfyingly gory spiritual successor to the Dead Space series, but it's ultimately more of a striking modern mimic than a scary new mutation. Keep an eye out for our performance review of the Callisto Protocol based on the Day 1 patch, for an in-depth comparison between the quality and performance modes on each platform. For more ultra-violent verdicts, check out our reviews of Evil West and Gungrave Gore, and for everything else, get a big messy mouthful of IGN.
Oh! Oh! Whoa! Is it gonna bust out? Oh, okay. Didn't see that death before. So actually, that isn't a bad rating to everybody. They may be like, Heems, I think you was just being too nice on your rating. You gave it like a 9.5. But I don't know, I actually liked it. I was looking forward to this game for quite some time. We did quite a few reactions to some of the trailers, and I tried to read up on it and see what it was about. And with this coming out along with Dead Space, it's like, this definitely complements each other for what's to expect. But guys, what did you think? Do you think it deserved the rating that it did? Do you think it should have been even further down? Or do you think it should have been further up? What was your experiences as you were playing this game? Give your honest review and let me know what you think in the comments. And last but not least, does anybody want to see me play this game again? Yes, no, or on extreme difficulty? Know that I did cuss a lot in my last videos, and yes, I did, because I got pissed. Some of the boss fights, like I said, it was just super repetitive, and then it was just what frustrated me the most. It was, like I said, just the bugs and the glitches, because like if you are dodging, it doesn't let you change the weapon. If you didn't load that weapon, God forbid, and you try to press the special or hopes that the special would have kicked in, it will automatically react to him actually doing a melee swing, which puts him in the field of basically getting one hit, one killed in there, and that pissed me off a lot. But all in all, it was a good game. But guys, either way, please smash the like button if you enjoyed this reaction, if you enjoyed the commentary, if you enjoyed my thoughts and opinions on it. Please let me know what you guys think on it. Don't forget to drop those suggestions below and let me know exactly what you would like to see in the next reaction video. To everybody, it's your boy Heemscast Gamer signing out. I'll see you guys soon with more content. To everybody out there, peace till the next video and stream.